Damascus, Virginia. Population just under 800 permanent residents, but with an estimated 300,000 visitors every year. Damascus is a beautiful and well-known small town with the beauty of a countryside around it that attracts countless day hikers, mountain bikers, shoppers, Appalachian Trail thru hikers, and so many more. Jen and I have visited the destruction following the aftermath of Hurricane Helene in North Carolina and East Tennessee, but what was the condition of one of our favorite Virginia towns to visit? Most of the downtown appeared untouched, save for some obvious flooding of a few downtown structures. I made a few calls to friends who knew residents in Damascus, and I learned that homes had been swept down the river. But in our drive into town, we noticed the cleanup efforts here appeared to already be well underway and completed in many areas. We could see the river encircling the town, but most of the structures, as we scanned the riverside, appeared intact and in decent shape. We wondered what flooding here had been like, how many had lost their homes, how much damage had there been. The park near the river that serves as the heart of the famous Appalachian Trail Days Festival, which Jen and I had visited in past years, appeared in amazing shape, despite its location so close to the riverbank. We knew we wouldn't know the real story about what had happened here until we spoke with those who lived here and experienced the hurricane firsthand. So I scheduled an interview with Mayor Katie Lamb. She agreed to meet us at Wilson's Cafe and Grill. We hoped to start our weekend in Damascus by learning from Katie what had happened. How bad had the damage been? Were families here without homes and without help? We didn't know what to expect. Were we making the trip just to see a town untouched by the hurricane? That idea we would soon discover was furthest from the reality. The people of Damascus had been deeply affected by the storm, and we'd soon learn that few had been emotionally devastated by the storm as much as Mayor Katie Lamb was. So Mayor Katie Lamb, you were re-elected to 2024, right?
Correct. This will be my third term.
Third term. So, how bad is it for people that don't know anything about what happened in Virginia when the storm hit? Was it a lot of damage, or was it mostly trees down along the roads? Like, how bad was the damage here?
Pretty devastating. Consider it a victory though, because we had no loss of human life, but that was close. If this had happened at night, we didn't have the town manager that we had now. This would have been a whole another story. Several houses up there are gone. There was a trailer park, an RV park, it's gone.
Along the river here, some houses actually got swept away.
Yes.
Were there ever any missing or just
No, we were able to get everybody out safely.
Wow.
Swiftwater Rescue Team had to come in. You know, you were stuck either on that bridge over there or on this side over here. Main Street was just nothing but a raging river.
Main Street was covered.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And so I called her and said, "Are you all okay?" And she said, "No, we're not. We cannot get out and they cannot get to us." And about that time, I think it was Senator Pillion called me and asked, "Do you need anything?" And I said, "Well, right now we need everything, but the most important thing I need right now is for you to come and send somebody to get these people out of this house." And it turns out that they were not the only people. They were in the house beside them. It was a rental, and there were two people standing on a Jeep that had fallen in the road because sinkholes were dropping all over the place. And so while I was on the phone, I called my friend back, and she answered, and it was getting worse. So like 15 minutes to them feels like probably days. They're sitting in the water. They got the dogs on the table. So I told her, they're sending some Swiftwater Rescue Team to get you. And she called me maybe 5 minutes later, and she said, "They're not here. Where are they?" And she was crying. I was crying. And then we lost cell service.
Oh my gosh.
The rivers rerouted themselves, totally destroyed the creeper trail, even the footpath, not just the bridges that are gone.
is that
The Virginia Creeper Trail, that's the lifeline of our town. It's a hiking trail, biking trail, horseback riding trail.
It was all the way. We almost hiked it one time.
It goes from White Top Mountain to Abingdon.
Yeah.
So now we're focusing on Abingdon because that one it was maintained, it was okay. And so now we're marketing it as a start in Abingdon art in Damascus. But we have 250,000 people that come to ride the Creeper Trail a year
Oh,
or
wow.
more. And then they stay here, they
Okay.
eat here, so our meals and lodging taxes have drastically decreased.
Now, I've heard there's still sections that are not passable. That's
yeah.
the Creeper Trail.
The Creeper Trail from
Toward
here to
White?
White Top is gone.
That's what I thought. It's actually wiped out. It's cleared right out.
The bridges, most of the trestles are got swept away. The other ones were all damaged. And took ruts out of the actual footpath itself that was, not on the bridges. Complete devastation for the Virginia people and these folks that have lost everything.
So this wasn't just a small event. I mean, I could
No.
tell it hit you hard. Like you're still traumatic from the whole thing, everything that happened, people getting trapped and everything. It's when you say destruction, you mean destruction.
Oh yeah, there was a raging river coming through here. It was this Laurel Creek that came this way with all its debris and all of its trees and all the trestles and everything that came down this river ended up, taking out these houses, these trailers, the RV park.
So like the other areas, the debris was causing a lot of additional destruction.
Oh yeah.
It was just flowing down the water.
Oh yeah, and then getting stuck on the bridges, so then the water couldn't get through under the bridges, and so it just came through the town, and it was raging,
Oh my gosh.
raging. Yeah.
Do you live near town?
Yes, but we live at the other end of town, up on the hill, so, we're fine. We forgot because we couldn't assess any of our own situation. My mother lives on
Yeah.
Main Street.
Oh,
She's 97. She was 96 then, but she's 97 now. And my husband and his friend were able to get her out of the house, and took my brother's house to safety. But we were not able to assess her house, the buildings that we own behind her house where we store our materials. We're in construction, store our materials and equipment and tools and things. And we weren't able to assess that until a week after because we were just so busy,
Oh, okay.
trying to take care of everybody else and, seeing what their needs, concerns were and loving on people, and trying to help them as best we could. And then my husband opened the door to our main shop there and, tried to open it and he couldn't because there was this much mud in there.
oh,
So he, shoved it and I just was like, okay, I'm out.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't want to see that.
I just couldn't deal with that. But then I brought this card for you all because I made this up and sent it out in October. It's of some of the people that came to help. So this is the director of FEMA with me here over here at this bridge that got washed out. Here was a volunteer that kept us all smiling. He was a true leader. Carrie Guest, he was a true leader in getting people moving and people working together and neighbors helping neighbors and community. I mean, we really banded together to take care of each other. And that's why we look as good as we do, 4 months after
Yeah, we know.
even,
Cleanup's amazing.
Yeah.
Compared to other areas.
oh yes.
Believe it.
I mean, it's and mostly, and then here's my chief of police and chief of the fire department. This is the Swiftwater Rescue Team that came.
They're locals? Local
They
team?
came from everywhere. People,
Really?
I mean, they came from everywhere. And this is I call these guys the little blue angels. They were a ministry team that came in, and they mucked out everybody that they could help
Oh, wow.
for free.
It's a lot of work.
So, they came to me and said, can we help you? And I'm like, no, go help other people first. And then you can come back here and help us. And they demanded that they take care of us. And they did. So all the buildings that we had, my mom's basement got flooded. She lost her furnace, lost her hot water heater. But they pulled everything out of all those buildings. They cleaned all the buildings, demolded all the buildings. Then they helped us repack all the boxes that got damaged. They built the shelving units that my husband had bought, put those in the buildings, and then moved everything back in. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Were they what was the organization? Were they with an organization
Virginia Rapid Recovery was this one, but there are many
that came in?
that came in to help. It was like they came in phases, and they're like the little blue angels that just came out of nowhere.
Asked for nothing, just helped.
Right.
Wow.
And we gave them a couple of donations just because we're so grateful
Yeah.
for them. And we've got the Mennonite people here now rebuilding homes for folks. They've got the footers dug and getting ready to pour those, I think, in the 2 or 3 places here. a friend of mine sent me this picture of Jesus, that this is how they found it after the
Oh.
flood. It was just like that. And
Standing
then,
right up. That is so
yes, it was
neat.
like, I've got you. I'm
Yeah.
taking care of you. And then here, of course, is the Governor Youngkin, J.D. Vance, the first time he came with his wife, and Senator Pillion and me. And of course, they all put their hats on that I give them that says Damascus. And so into this week, weeks or two or whatever, I don't remember the timing, but, people ask me, "Katie, are we going to be all right?"
It's okay.
I'm like, "You're damn right we are." And then they would say, "Are we going to be able to rebuild?" I'm like, "You damn straight we are, because we are damn strong." So then I sent out this mailer for folks to show them how much I appreciated them.
I love that. That's awesome.
Y'all could have that.
Thank you.
And then we hung this banner on my mom's porch, which is right on Main Street.
Yeah.
It just fell down for the third or fourth time,
Yeah.
like a week or so ago, and we finally
So
took it down.
it
But
sounds like you got a lot of support. I asked the same question because I kept hearing rumors about not enough federal support, not enough FEMA support. I see a FEMA picture in there. Do you feel like your area got good support?
I don't know the true answer to that question. I know that what's being rebuilt is by volunteers.
Is it because families are being denied when they apply? Do you know?
It's just the whole process. We're 4 months into it. These people need their homes back.
Right.
It's the whole process takes forever. And that's
red
why
tape.
the vice president was here. That's why the governor keeps coming back here, because he realizes that we need help, and we need help now. We don't need it in 2026.
Right.
We need it now.
Okay, they've got no home. They have no place to live. Probably still have a mortgage in a lot of cases.
Correct. And they're getting tax bills
Yeah.
based on the, the tax value that they had a home.
And insurance doesn't cover it.
They're having a really tough time.
It's a
Like,
flood cover.
Right.
They're saying it doesn't cover.
and things that were not in the flood zone
Yeah.
before are definitely going to be in the flood zone now.
Yeah.
So those folks that weren't in the flood zone, they didn't know they were going to need flood insurance.
Right.
I think my mother was maybe one of the only ones that got flood insurance, and we're still waiting. We had to get her a new heat pump, a new HVAC system. A new oil furnace, and then the hot water heater. And, that's all expensive. And, she doesn't have a lot of funding. And,
Right.
and so we're waiting to get check from the flood insurance people. And, they need this and they need that and they need this. And honestly, the documentation to get help from FEMA, I know the town finally did get a substantial amount of money to reimburse us for all the things that we've been having to pay for, even just tree cleanup, which is, fuel for the forest fires. So, that's a huge thing, especially after what happened out west. We have got to keep that cleaned up. And it was crazy. I was standing at the bridge on the other end of town, right in front of my mom's house, and just helpless. You couldn't get through.
Yeah.
You couldn't walk. And then finally the water started to recede, and people were able to get home. And then there was just trying to keep people out of town, to keep them from looting, to keep the looky-loos from coming in and just, gobbing up the place. And, but I'm so proud of my people. All the people, because,
When you see neighbors helping neighbors, it's overwhelming.
oh my gosh, everybody whipped out their skid steers and their tractors and whatever. We're good old country folk, and we are resilient. And it's been an amazing thing. And I know in the core of my being that we are going to be better than we've ever been.
It really brought people together. When you go through a tragedy like that, you already love your community, but after you see how people came together, it's got to be overwhelming.
Oh, it did. Yeah. And a friend of mine sent me a thing about a month ago about hurricane fatigue. Katie, it's a thing, so it's okay.
I would think so.
So would you say the hardest hit areas were that part of the Creeper Trail that's gone at this point? Still a bridge, the bridges that have to get rebuilt?
That bridge is going to have to be rebuilt. Yeah.
Is that the only one in the area that is
Uh,
completely destroyed?
yeah. Well, yes. As far as I'm pretty sure that's the only one. But then 91 was shut down all the way to Boone. That's how bad the waters were coming from up
Yeah,
the
that
mountain.
caught my attention. When I heard that was shut down, I'm like, hey, it's got to be bad there. It's got to be bad.
Yeah, and NCDOT got those roads up and running, and now you can get there. But the devastation too from here to there was just unbelievable, and the spottiness of it. Like,
That's what you noticed on the way here.
That's what we noticed, yeah, like, but it doesn't, I don't think a water
I don't even
line.
see a creek there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there, we just took a bitty little trickle of water that brought devastating.
Strange. It's weird.
It is so
It happens with, forest fires too. Used to be one,
Yeah.
natural on someone's house.
Gatlinburg, yeah.
Right, right.
Were there a lot of mudslides here too, like other places?
Um,
Like North Carolina get hit with so many mudslides.
probably further up. There are, we're kind of flat right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our Taylor's Valley people, those people were hit very, very hard. There's a couple that were 83 years old. The house went down the river. They got He said, it's a miracle. He told her to put on this life jacket. Put on a life jacket. They put on life jackets.
That's smart.
He just was always a Boy Scout. He
Yeah.
taught my brother Boy Scouts, he led the Boy Scout troops for years. And so they got separated. The bottom of the house was gone, and he was hanging onto a tree for 3 hours. And she was sitting in the portion of the house upstairs that landed on the dry ground. And she was in her rocking chair
No.
for 16 hours
16 hours.
before anybody could get to her.
Poor thing.
And then the man, we went to the governor's, he flew us out there to his State of the Commonwealth address speech. And he recognized that couple, but just the resilience of them. They've been married for 57 years. Just wonderful people. I've known them my whole life, went to school with their kids. And so just the resilience of the people. And,
Do you feel like the stories here just haven't been told? It doesn't seem like Virginia's really come up. Do you agree, or does it bother you at all?
well, I don't know. I haven't had much time to look at the news to be true. I miss it. Every time I'm on there, people would call and be like, "Hey, we saw you on TV." And I'm like, "Well, I missed it."
I was there.
But my friends from California, friends from New York, friends from Florida, Georgia, all those people have seen they've told me they've seen me on national news, and that's the only reason that is because we've had dignitaries coming.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that,
More recently, though, right? At the beginning, I don't think there was a whole lot.
Governor Youngkin came here, I think, like the next day.
oh, okay.
So the Virginia,
So he has been on top of it. Yeah,
Much better.
yeah. I mean, what a man. He and his wife are just as lovely as the VP and his wife.
oh, that's fantastic.
Lovely, lovely, down to earth people and love on everybody and accept everybody. And, JD is Appalachian. So,
Yes.
just lovely, lovely people. And I know they're going to help us.
So you all feel pretty well cared for, at least by the state. They've really taken care of you all. Yeah.
Yeah. The VDOM, Virginia Department of Emergency Management, they came in right away. The county administrator came in right away, and he, got us dumpsters to put things in. He got us, porta-johns and laundry stations and water stations, because we lost power, we lost water, and we lost cell phone service. But then we had power and water back in a week,
In a week.
which is insane.
A lot different here than.
I mean, that's even better than Irwin and Utica and like Tennessee.
So
That's amazing.
have had people taking care of us. I was just at a meeting yesterday with Chief Ward. He's with the governor's office, kind of filling us in with, time frame of Creeper Trail and
Yeah.
getting that rebuilt, and working with the Forestry Service, working with VDOT, you're working with all the people of all the things, the water system,
All at the
sewer
same time,
systems,
just- yeah.
phone systems, and it's been a whirlwind.
Most of those stories, people that got impacted, was it centralized in the areas you were talking about? No, because you said the road all the way up to Right Top. So people must have been impacted all the way.
Well, the Route 58, which is the road that the shuttles would take the bikers up to the top of the mountain.
Route 58 up to
Yeah, that one got just destroyed in a certain section. And I think it's a 1.5 to 3 mile section. I'm not sure how big, but just got totally pummeled and destroyed. And then, the bridge to Taylor's Valley that was in front of the McMurrays who survived, the 83-year-olds, that bridge got wiped out. And that was the only avenue to get to the houses and the people on the other side of that creek, which destroyed the creeper trail.
Wow.
So VDOT came in and I think within a couple of weeks put in a temporary bridge that just dropped in
A wood-
so that people could get to and from,
Yep.
you know, and in Taylor's Valley, we just consider these people an extension of Damascus, you know, they go to our schools and, you know, we had to go and love on those people too. And, but, you know, just the camaraderie and the community and the resilience of my people, I am so proud.
How far along would you say you all are? Getting back to normal. I know it's a hard question.
Yeah, no, our lodging taxes are really, really, really down. Meals taxes are okay, and I think that's because that's a way for people to support us, and people are coming to support us. And now, you know, and we also have a lot of people here working, helping, volunteering, building the houses.
This is normally off season a little bit anyway, isn't it?
Yes,
So
it is, and we're used to that. But October and September, well, so October and November, especially October, would be a peak month.
we came for, what was it called? The Appalachian, the trail event, trail days, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
it's always the weekend after Mother's
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, that's our-
fighters, so I really want to see that.
yeah, I love that event.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, we have to overcome, adapt, and improvise.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do. So we have some other things that we're working on that we want to bring people here. So we're going to have, we called it the Dam 200, and it's an adventure motorcycle ride for 150 riders to come to Damascus.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like an overnight event. And we've been working with the BDR, the Backcountry Discovery Route folks. And you're talking about love. I mean, the outpouring of love from the volunteers, from the donations, from the supplies, just how we have been so blessed and we are so grateful. And the BDR folks now have a route that starts in Florida and will end in Damascus. They have existing a route that goes from Damascus to Pennsylvania. So we'll be the part of that trail as well. So that's amazing. The motor ride will be in June. Then we're going to have a trout fishing kind of expedition. I think we're going to have 2 of those to bring people to town. And then we're working on some more music events. So, you know, we're going to be better. Yes, we're going to be better than we've ever been. Right, J-Dub?
I tried. He said I got that.
Okay.
Yeah, my people take care of me.
People never think of that. The fact that, well, especially for Damascus, because it's such a tourism town, like so many people come in to do recreational stuff. And you don't think about that. Like, and the impact,
As a result.
yeah, the impact of a disaster, all of a sudden, all these things aren't happening. So you're not getting the tax revenue, which directly impacts the town's finances, which impacts everything
Right.
the town supports, right? Is the financial impact pretty severe so far? Are you worried about this summer and the continued impact of,
Yes, we are very concerned. You know, somebody came to me, his name is Philip from the Johnson County Trails Association over there. It's a nonprofit. And he had a meeting with me and the town manager of Abingdon and presenting to us. They've been trying to get this trail done for 20 years from Shady Valley. It's downhill. It's not steep and, you know, you might have to pedal some, but it has no bridges, no trestles. And it's a footpath, kind of a mountain biking path now, but they want to change it to a multi-use trail like the Creeper Trail. And then when they get the green light, they can have it done in 6 months. It's going to take more than 6 months to get the Creeper Trail back. So that could be our interim lifeline. And then another thing for people to stay another day to do another trail, because we are Trail Town USA.
yes,
And so, you know, I'm working with the governor and his chief ward on that to try to get that done. Because, you know, the guy that made that presentation to me said that he had been shut down by the previous mayor. He'd been shut down by the Virginia Creeper Trail Conservancy.
sure.
They didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Wow.
Why would you not want to have something else in town? So so anyway, hopefully that will come about and we'll get that done. I'm really pressing for that. And every time I talk about it, I get the chills. So I think that's confirmation.
Yes. With the condition of those trails, do you know if a lot of work is needed to bring them back? Or
Well, I know that the Appalachian Trail Conservancy has been working very hard on the AT
Okay.
I have not physically been out. I don't hit the trails like I used to.
Okay.
And do not really have a secure update of the status of all the trails.
So you do know they're doing ongoing work. So
Yeah.
to speak. Okay.
Yeah. And we are having trail days as usual,
Yay.
full on trail days. So,
Good.
yeah.
Be there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Look me up.
Yeah.
We will.
But one of the things that did surprise us, we were driving in, and so I'm not surprised to hear how much work has been done because in North Carolina, whenever we drove through, just trees are everywhere. They're not cleaning up for some reason as quickly. And here it was like we saw the cleared out areas, all the cut trees,
Yeah, we could.
both sides near the creek, and I'm like, they've done it. Oh no.
We can thank our county administrator for that. He made that happen, and just the work. I mean, we're talking trucks or, two big beds, like
Wow.
these
Yeah.
of debris, and they're going back and forth, picking up, taking out, picking up, taking out, picking up, taking out. Just,
Isn't that amazing?
and then
I mean,
all
even
the
here-
dumpsters that the county administrator got brought in for the people who were trying to save what they could.
Yeah.
And all the debris. And, we had the Tar Heels, lacrosse team come here
Wow.
and pick debris. They
Yeah.
got boats and canoes, and we're in the water going across the river to bring debris across so that we could get it in the dumpsters. And all those folks are coming back, here pretty soon. I think the rugby team, the lacrosse team, I hope I don't miss anybody or get anything wrong, but the Tar Heels, North Carolina Tar Heels, because they have ties of folks that have homes here, second homes, and then a newly elected town council member, Hunter Faust, is from there, and he now lives here, and he's now my vice mayor. It's amazing.
But even down here, where you can see there's definitely damage to a lot of the structures downtown. But even though it's flat, like some areas are flat, it's clean. You don't have big, ugly piles like
We did.
places do.
We did.
But it's,
At least at this point, you know how hard it is for people to keep looking at that every single day in other areas.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got to be better for people here to at least not have
Yes.
to look at that. Right?
Right. I mean, because then you're reminded of the devastation,
Yeah.
just constantly.
So now it's the rebuilding phase, bringing things back.
Covering, rebuilding, yeah. Businesses like the guy that owns this also had the Damascus Diner, which was a favorite from all over.
Yeah.
People coming to the diner, and that thing got obliterated. But he's rebuilding, and he's going to open hopefully in March. But, so you can't keep us down.
right, sounds like it.
But I guess the situation is similar as far as people are having to rebuild on their own. Volunteers have to help them rebuild because the loopholes they have to jump through.
Red tape.
Bureaucratic red tape.
And Trump will tell you that, the vice president will tell you that, the governor will tell you that. And actually, we had a roundtable when the vice president came with the governor, and that was the biggest topic of discussion. The money has been allocated, release it.
Yeah.
Enough of the BS, just give us the money.
Yeah, these poor families having to sign in triplicate 3 or 4 rooms and
And then,
apply when they get denied. And
right, and then so like up here at the trailer park, the people own their trailers or their campers or whatever, but they don't own the land. And then the FEMA gives the landowner, if you get the money, then it's crazy.
Yeah. So I would say, I guess to finish off, the last thing I would like to ask is everything your town, everything your community has been through. Obviously the first day is a nightmare, just everything that happened. Then the slow process of rebuilding. At this point, knowing how much more there's left for people to do and rebuild, is there anything you would like to mention, say to the community? Although maybe not so much your community, because I'm sure they've heard from you plenty. I would say the people around who are going through the same thing throughout Virginia, throughout North Carolina, going through this same rebuilding process. You know what I mean? Do you have advice? Do you have for people that are just trying to hang on and rebuild?
First of all, you need to love each other. First and foremost.
Yeah.
Prayer will get you to do anything. Stick together and we are vulnerable during this time.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help. And let's help each other. This is what community is about. And just stay strong. We will get through it. We will get through it. And you will get through it too. So We're all gonna be all right.
That's a great message.
It is. I can see why you're the mayor too.
Oh,
You have a lot of heart. Thank you so much.
oh, you're very welcome.
Total devastation, she said. We'd missed it. We'd driven quickly through town thinking that would tell us all we needed to know. But like so many other small towns in Appalachia, you need to follow the river to understand the story. The impact of rivers and creeks raising up countless feet above normal and catching residents completely off guard. And so, we would stay for the weekend and explore the countryside. We would follow the river and document the washed away homes and structures, the debris fields, the flattened parks, and homes with all contents flushed away by the raging floodwaters that seemed to come out of nowhere. Once again, the river would tell us the story if we just followed its banks and let it. We would share its story of destruction, of lives destroyed, homes ravaged, and bridges snapped away as though concrete was as weak as a tower of cards in its path. But that isn't all the river would tell us. It would bring us stories of rebuilding and hope, of families overwhelmed by neighbors from near and afar, rushing into the fight with hammers, plywood, window, drywall, food, and a place to stay warm, and more love than anyone could possibly comprehend. Neighbors from across the country who dropped their own lives to lift up the lives of others, protecting them and holding them through the darkness as the healing process begins. But also rejoicing in the selfless acts of kindness that give you hope in humanity, even in a world that often seems so dark and so evil at times. As we documented the ravaged landscape, a mix of fields, of trees torn up by their roots, Jen and I often found ourselves looking up at the mountains surrounding this place and reflecting on its timeless beauty. The exact thing that brings hundreds of thousands of visitors here every year. Whatever story the river told us, we knew in our hearts that the end of that story would be a good one. As Katie Lamb said, "We'll be all right."